Well, here's something that I did not expect to be saying today. Mitch Haniger is once again a Seattle Mariner. News broke early this afternoon that Robbie Ray had been traded to the San Francisco Giants in exchange for outfielder Mitch Haniger and starting pitcher Anthony DeSclafani. It was announced immediately after that outfielder Luke Raley would be heading from the Tampa Bay Rays up to Seattle in exchange for utility infielder Jose Caballero. Of course, I had to go live right away, so if you jumped on the live stream while I was processing the move and what was going on, I appreciate your comments and opinions. It's been a lot to process this offseason, a lot of moving pieces, and like we all know is going to happen. It's going to be something completely out of left field, nothing that's being talked about. Are the Mariners going after Rosarena, Paredes, Max Kepler, Jorge Polanco? Are they going to be trading Luis Castillo or Logan Gilbert or Brian Wu, Bryce Miller? It seems that they might be standing pat with what the roster currently is after today's moves. So first off, let's take a look at the press releases from the Seattle Mariners on both of these trades as it gives some insight onto what they might be doing moving forward. So first off, Jerry Dipoto states, as we continue to build out our team for 2024 and beyond, we feel this trade accomplishes a couple of our objectives. In Mitch, we get a player we know well and hold in very high regard as another piece for our outfield, while Anthony, who can start or pitch out of the pen, gives us depth in our pitching staff. And the deal allows us to put the best team possible on the field from opening day on. The key phrase right there is allows us to put the best team possible on the field from opening day on. So looking into it, it seems that Jerry is kind of saying that this is going to be the opening day roster as it gives them the best team possible on the field from opening day on. So after today with these moves, the Mariners might have their opening day roster set. Then in the second press release, Justin Hollander states, we're thrilled to add Luke Raley to the middle of our lineup as a left-handed bat with positional versatility. Offensively, Luke brings power paired with game-changing base running and instincts. He's a solid defender across multiple positions, adding further flexibility to our lineup on a nightly basis. Then a little bit about Raley. He is 29 years old, appeared in 118 games with Tampa Bay last season, batting .249 with 56 runs, 23 doubles, 3 triples, 19 home runs, 49 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases, getting on base at a .333 clip and slugging .490. Among American League players with at least 400 plate appearances in 2023, Raley's 130 weighted runs created plus ranked 14th. The 6'4", 235 outfielder first baseman appeared defensively at first base in 35 games, and in all 3 outfield positions. A little more insight on these trades. Jeff Passan is reporting Robbie Ray is coming off Tommy John surgery and is owed $73 million over the last 3 years of his contract, though he has an opt-out after the 2024 season. Robbie is expected to return after the All-Star break. Mitch Haniger, a longtime Mariner who left for San Francisco in free agency last year, heads back with 2 years and $32.5 million left on his deal, and also has an opt-out after 2024. DeSclafani is in his final year of his contract and has $12 million remaining. He also states that Mitch Haniger and Robbie Ray each receive a $1 million assignment bonus for being traded, and this will actually be a cash-neutral deal for 2024, with the Giants actually sending $6 million, not $3 million, to Seattle. And so again, looking at these contracts, the Mariners signed Robbie Ray coming off of his Cy Young year in Toronto to a 5-year contract in total. There was a no-trade clause for those first 2 years, and as soon as the clock hit 2024, Dipoto said it's time to move on from Robbie. In Robbie's last 3 years of his contract, he earns $24 million in 2024, he earns $25 million in 2025 and 26. He does have an opt-out after 2024, but it's likely that he would not be opting out of this contract, as he likely would not get more than $25 million per year, or $50 million total, after coming off of an injury like the one that he just had. And so although Robbie does have Cy Young upside when he's healthy, since he's not going to be coming back after the All-Star break, he's not going to be helping out the Mariners for 2024. And so they decided to move on from him, shed that contract at the same time. It was assumed all offseason that the Mariners were going to be trading from their surplus of starting pitching, as even after this Robbie Ray trade, now they have 7 starting pitchers that potentially could build out the rotation if you include DeSclafani and Emerson Hancock. The thought was that it was going to be a Bryce Miller or Brian Wu that would be moved. I'm kind of surprised that Robbie Ray was able to be traded like this and his contract sent to San Francisco, especially coming off of this injury. So Robbie was due $73 million the rest of his contract. The last 2 years would be $50 million. So that's $50 million over the next 2 years that the Mariners took off their payroll. Now you get into Mitch Haniger's contract. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He has a player option for next year, so he could choose to opt in or to not take that player option. He's making $17 million this year, and since it's a net zero deal as far as cash is concerned for 2024, we'll just not include the 17 million, but he's due 15.5 million or 17.5 million actually for next year. Mitch Haniger, when he's healthy, as Mariners fans know, he was one of the best hitters on the Mariners team from 2017 when he first joined the team all the way until 2022. Now, of course, in 2019, he only played 63 games. He missed all of 2020 season. And then in 2022, he only played in 57 games due to injuries. But in 2018, All-Star, 139 OPS plus. In 2021, he had 39 home runs and 100 RBIs. And we'll get into a mock lineup in a bit, but it's assumed at this point that Haniger will be in a platoon with Canzone in right field. As for DeSclafani, he's making $12 million this year. Again, it's a net zero deal, so his money essentially doesn't matter. Next year, he's off the books. So we're looking at this Robbie Ray to the Giants deal. The Mariners are saving $32.5 million over the next 2 years because they're getting rid of Robbie's $50 million. They're paying Mitch Haniger $17.5. The difference is $32.5. As for the Luke Raley trade, he is currently in pre-arbitration, so he's making the league minimum salary this year and next year in 2025. And then he'll hit arbitration, so the Mariners have 5 years of control of Luke Raley. And then Jose Caballero is in pre-arbitration. He'll be under control for 6 years with the Rays. So who is Luke Raley? He's a outfielder slash first baseman that bats left, throws righty. He's 6'4", 235. Drafted in the 7th round of the 2016 MLB draft by the Los Angeles Dodgers. And in his first couple years of exposure in the big leagues, he first came up with the Dodgers in 2021. He only played in 33 games, played in 22 games in 2022 with the Rays. In 2023 was his first big exposure to the big leagues, and he excelled. He played in 118 games with the Rays. He had 19 home runs, 49 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, and he had a batting average of 249 and on base of 333, a slug of 490, which is an OPS of 824 or an OPS plus of 126. So in his first bigger sample size in the big leagues in 2023, over 406 plate appearances, he was about 26% better than the average hitter. As for Jose Caballero, he made his debut with the Mariners in 2023. He played in 104 games that season. He batted 221, 343 on base percentage, a 320 slug. He had an OPS plus of 90. He was more of a utility defender, and he was a pesky guy on the base path. And a pesky guy with a pitch clock if you watch Mariner games. And then as for the stats with Anthony DeSclafani, he's been in the league for 9 years now. He's heading into his age 34 season. He missed a majority of the 2022 season with injury. He only pitched in 99 and 2/3 innings last year. He had a 1.254 whip, a 7.1 strikeouts per 9, and a 1.8 walks per 9. So my initial thoughts on these trades now that I've had some time to process and figure out what's going on. As far as the Robbie Ray trade is concerned, it does make sense. They shed $32.5 million of future payroll. Robbie wasn't going to be helping the team really this year at all. They already have a surplus of starting pitching. So instead of trading one of your young starting guys or any of your true strength of that rotation, they were able to ship off Robbie Ray and that contract to the Giants. They're able to get Mitch Haniger, who's going to be a true contributor for the Mariners this year in right field. They have him for the next 2 years, which if you watch my prior videos, the next 2 years are really the Mariners' true window of contention with their current setup. And then with DeSclafani, it does give them depth either in the bullpen or in the back end of the starting rotation. I'm curious if they will still trade a young starting pitcher and have DeSclafani be the 5, or if he's just going to be the long relief guy out of the bullpen. But from Dipoto and Hollander's comments, it seems that this might be the final trade. This might be the set roster for opening day. As for the trade sending Caballero to the Rays in exchange for Luke Raley straight up, that one seems a bit lopsided. I think the Mariners really pulled that one off. Caballero was never going to be a true impact contributor. His bat really isn't there from what we've seen so far in his contributions. He is pesky at the plate. He has a decent eye. He's pesky on the base paths as we've seen. But he was never going to be a starter for the Mariners. And to get Luke Raley, a guy that seems to be a guy with solid potential, that is going to be an everyday guy, and as Hollander said, in the middle of your lineup, that might be a pretty good steal for the Mariners. I still don't know everything about Luke Raley yet, so I'm sure I'll be working on a player profile at some point soon, talking about him and where he came from. Now getting into the Mariners opening day lineup, this might be what you're seeing on opening day for the Mariners. It took me some time to figure out exactly where Haniger, Canzone, Luke Raley would slot in along with the addition of Mitch Garver in this lineup. But this might be kind of what you're looking at. You're looking at JP Crawford leading off at shortstop, Julio Rodriguez in center field, batting second. Then getting to the 3 spot, I was debating between who would be batting at third, if it would be Haniger, Raley, or Garver. I decided that Mitch Haniger probably would bat in the 3 spot. Luke Raley, who seems to be known for his power, would be batting in the 4 spot. Mitch Garver after Luke Raley. Then Cal Raleigh drops down to 6, Ty France 7, Luis Arias 8, and Josh Rojas 9. This offense looks much more built out and quite frankly better than I thought it would look after I first saw the initial trades earlier today. When you're moving Cal Raleigh and Ty France down into the 6 and 7 hole, that's a very good problem to have. Then, of course, with the starting pitching, you would have Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. DeSclafani would be the fill-in. Emerson Hancock is also there, but DeSclafani likely coming out of the bullpen. So let me know your thoughts on both of these trades that happened today. Let me know your thoughts on the mock lineup that I put together. Who would you put in that 3 spot? That's really the question, the 3, 4, 5 spot. Feel free to comment your opening day lineup below and let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let me know if there's any other topics you'd like me to cover. Otherwise, you could be looking for a Luke Raley player profile coming very soon. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.